Alright, hello guys, how's it going? In today's video, we're going to be taking a little bit of a look at how this upcoming December could go. Now, before I get started with this video though, I would ask that you do subscribe if you do like weather-related content, and also make sure to share this video with your friends, family, and social media. I'd also ask that you check out our very exciting Patreon page in the description and the pinned comment down below. Anyway, for today's comment of the day, I want to know, what is your favorite weather month of the entire year, like what the weather pattern is typically like? I don't know, give me a reason why, and I'll be picking one of those for tomorrow's video. Let's get into this video, and we're going to be taking a look at 5-day increments from our CFS daily model. So we're taking a look at, again, the 15th through the 20th here on our 5-day increments. As you can see, over the next 5 days, we will have some colder than normal conditions around for the East Coast, warmer conditions for the central United States, and kind of neutral temperatures out there in the West. As we move on to our 20th through 25th, you can see we actually begin to see the West Coast cool down. The central United States has warmed up even further. And then the East Coast, that cool down is moving further east and further north. So that is kind of moving out. It'll be near normal during the 20th through the 25th. Now, what we are going to do is we are going to move on to the 25th through the 30th, and then we're eventually going to move well into December. We're just going to continue to take a look at some 5-day increments. Alright, so here we are taking a look at the 25th through the 30th, and as you can see, that warm-up moves further and further east by this point, with the exception of New England. And then the west, we can see cold, especially the southwest there in the Pacific Northwest. The central and eastern United States overall is dealing with warmth, again, with the exception of possibly New England there. Let's just go ahead and move on towards the 30th through the 5th, so we're getting into December now, and as you can see, everything kind of actually cools down here by this point. The southwest, the southeast, the East Coast, we're seeing kind of just a colder pattern overall here, it appears. And as we head towards the 5th through the 10th here, it becomes apparent that the southeast, and I guess generally the East Coast, is dealing with the coldest temperatures compared to normal. We also see the West Coast is still dealing with those slightly below normal temperatures, maybe near normal for a lot of regions there. And then kind of the upper Midwest is dealing with the most warmth by this point, kind of a horseshoe shape. A lot of times, a couple years ago, we were dealing with the opposite pattern of this, kind of cold in the middle and then warm for the two coasts. This model seems to think that we will have the opposite. Obviously, take this with a grain of salt. These models have been tremendously struggling, but obviously my channel is built upon model guidance updates and just showing you guys what they're calling for. So kind of we're just using the best resources we have at this point. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to move on, and we're going to take a look at the 10th through the 15th, the 15th through the 20th, and then the 20th through the 25th, and then the 25th through the 30th, and then we're going to start getting into some of the monthly outlooks and different models, including our Jamstack model, our European seasonal model, all sorts of models in just a moment. Alright, now here we are taking a look at the 10th through the 15th of December, and as you can see, that warm up out west actually begins to kind of become a lot more apparent, and then the East Coast is still dealing with some colder than normal conditions. Do I think the cold will be this consistent anywhere, really? Absolutely not. I think we're going to be kind of in a flip-floppy pattern where the cold and warmth is going to be moving very quickly from west to east, so you're going to go back and forth, back and forth. This model seems to think we will be locked into an East Coast cold pattern. I'm very doubtful and skeptical of this pattern, but I guess we will see. It is possible. Anything is possible in weather. I've learned that the hard way many times, so we'll just continue to watch this, but for now, this model actually is kind of an outlier at this point with this outlook. Here's the 15th through the 20th, and things actually begin to warm up for the east and cool down for the west, kind of a negative P&A pattern here. And then by the time we're reaching the 20th through the 25th, so kind of what I would call like the days leading to Christmas, Christmas Eve, Christmas, this is all included in this. And as you can see, we actually have a cold week, and that's kind of nice. It's been a long time since we've had a cold Christmas here on the East Coast from what I remember. So here we go, maybe gonna happen this year. And then here's the 25th through the 30th, so the week after Christmas, we actually see an even bigger cool down. The central and the eastern United States especially cool down here by this point, as well as the Pacific Northwest. Kind of a southeast ridge there for Florida and Georgia. Not too big of a deal there, though. So very interesting pattern we're going to find ourselves in, and kind of just a colder overall late December pattern. The further into this model you get, the less reliable it becomes. So this is obviously something I'm definitely taking with a major grain of salt, but I've been showing you guys more of the extended range. But in return, I expect you guys to handle this information responsibly and understand that the further out we get, the less and less chance of it panning out this way is. In general, I guess we can get a good idea of what the pattern might look like, but definitely even I just take it with a major grain of salt, and I highly recommend you do so as well, especially as, again, we get to those later 5-day increments there. What we're going to do is we're going to take a look at kind of a contradicting point of view from a different model, and we're just going to take a look at what this one has to say. And we're going to take a look at multiple different model outlooks here in just a moment. All right, so here we are taking a look at our European seasonal model here. And this is for December. So this one highly disagrees. It thinks we will be warm everywhere. And I've mentioned this many times, but my major problem I have with the European seasonal model is that it always does this. No matter what the month is, no matter what the year is, it always just wants to call for warm everywhere. The only month that this European seasonal model is usually good at is the month that it's currently in. Like, its November outlook on November 1st when it comes out is usually very great, actually. Beyond that, it becomes extremely inaccurate. That isn't just an observation I've made over the years, and I think probably many of you that actually watch the models have made that same observation. Here's our December through January through February outlook here on our European ensemble model. And as you can see, pretty much cold nowhere, warmth everywhere, complete torch, and it shows this every single year, year in and year out. So that's kind of why I'm doubtful usually when I see that model calling for generally anything. What we're going to do here is let's just take a look at our Jamstech's most up-to-date November, December, January, and February outlook here. And as you can see, we're actually seeing a lot of cold to the north here, especially the Pacific Northwest, the upper Midwest, and the Great Lakes, as well as northern New England, seeing below normal temperatures. And then the Southwest and the Southeast dealing with warmer than normal conditions. You might be thinking, hey, this looks familiar. Probably because this looks exactly how my most recent winter forecasts have gone. So yeah, definitely seeing a lot of agreement there with my forecast. I'm happy to see that. I'm always happy to see if a model agrees with my forecast, especially after I make the forecast. That's very good. And it's kind of just makes you feel a lot more confident in your forecast. What we're going to do is we're going to move on and we're going to take a look at actually all three of the models we've gone over and take a look at their precipitation forecast. Now, the interesting thing here is a lot of those models definitely disagree on the temperature forecast, but when we look at the precipitation forecast, all three of them have great agreement. Now, you might be wondering, how in the world do they disagree so much on the temperature pattern, which largely actually influences the precipitation forecast, but somehow come to an agreement on the precipitation forecast? And unfortunately, the answer to that is unknown because I have no idea how this is happening or why, but let's just take a look at our European ensemble, or sorry, our European seasonal model, December through February forecast on the precipitation, and it looks exactly like my winter forecast actually for the winter. As you can see, a lot of precipitation out there in the Pacific Northwest, as well as the Ohio Valley and the Great Lakes, and kind of creeping into New England as well, with a dry southeast and southwestern United States. Our CFS model generally agrees. Very wet in the Pacific Northwest, very wet in the Ohio Valley and the Great Lakes, including New England, and then dry in the southeast and the southwest. It does have a bit more precipitation there for the south central, and also a bit more there for the mid-Atlantic, but overall that's pretty good agreement. And then let's take a look at our Jamstech model's precipitation forecast, and as you can see, Pacific Northwest, Ohio Valley, into the Northeast and the Great Lakes is above average, and then the Southeast and Southwest is below average on precipitation. Again, these models, all three of them, highly disagree on the temperature outlook, but for some reason just think the precipitation, they all just want to agree on it. So temperature is kind of a toss-up. Precipitation is becoming very, very apparent what pattern we're going to be in. All right, let's just quickly take a look at our Jamstech's sea surface temperature pattern. I think the thing that's largely driving our southeast ridge that we're going to be dealing with, and what we have been dealing with, is those high sea surface temperatures there offshore of the southeast. Look up to the west and east of Florida, all the way up the northeast coast. All those reds, that is just influencing the air temperature all around, and I really think that is what's fueling that southeast ridge. So until those waters cool down, I don't really see any change in the southeast ridge just being a very dominant factor. Anyways, for today's comment of the day, I asked you guys, how do you think this December is going to go? And Andrew Wells said, I think it's going to be cold with average snow. I'm even calling for a white Christmas. Very interesting there by Andrew. I'll be watching that closely to see if we do have a white Christmas here in the Northeast or anywhere else. I think we were talking about the Northeast in the comment of the day. That's why I say here in the Northeast. I don't even live in the Northeast, so I don't know why I said that. Anyway, for today's Patreon highlight of the day, I want to thank you all for supporting the channel, but especially our Diamond patrons. Michael Caudelessa, Madbirds, Felix Wheatfield, Michael Buell, Mariah Vieira, Kellen Manhart, Alicia Davis, Catbite, Terry Curtis, It's Jay, Cindy Klein, Noah Harley, and Mark J. Alongside our Platinum patrons, Adam S., Alan Belemo, Donna Carnez, Justin Quantrell, Dovie Nagel, James Wade, Larry LePan, and Cameron Marshall. If you would like to be on this Patreon end screen, you can do so by joining the Patreon page in the description in the pinned comment down below. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Again, be sure to share it with your friends, family, and social media. I will see you guys in the next video.